When you go to the bathroom, do you wipe your backside with dollar bills? Perhaps when you go camping, do you like to throw 10s, 20s, $100 bills in the campfire just to keep the fire brewing? Well, if I don't. I don't like to waste my money. And clearly I want to talk about some of the worst vehicles you could possibly imagine buying if you want to keep money in your pocket. If you're not the person to burn that money, if you're not the person to wipe your back with the dollar and $10 and $20 bills, then you'll probably appreciate, you probably don't want some of these vehicles that are some of the worst depreciating vehicles in a 5-year time frame. That's right, iSeeCars.com did a survey and they put together some of the list of the worst depreciating vehicles. And you would guess, probably a lot of them luxury vehicles, European, Italian, possibly electric vehicles. Well, guess what? You'd probably be right on all counts. But we're going to break this down. I'm going to give you this list of some of the worst depreciating vehicles you could possibly imagine. So if you like your money and you don't like throwing it away or burning it or doing whatever with it, you're probably going to want to stick around and find out right to the bitter end, because this one definitely will not shock you. Or actually it might. So let's take this from the top. In a 5-year time frame, the worst vehicle for losing money, absolutely devastating financially. And I can't even believe the kind of financial mistakes people are making when they're worried about 401ks, retirement early, putting money away for savings. And during the cost of living crisis, people are still buying vehicles like the first one on our list, Cadillac Escalade ESV. In 5 years, it loses as much as 62.9%, or as much as almost $57,000, if you can believe that. That's horrendous amount of money in 5 year time frame. What can you do in 50 grand in 5 years? Like, can you imagine? Maybe some vacations, holidays, maybe a trip to Europe, you name it. Well, guess what? The next one, again, not a shocker. And we've seen it. We've seen it with some of the rental companies, Hertz, unloading lots of their inventory. We're seeing, of course, a lot of what's going on recently with brands like Tesla. That's right. A lot of people are trying to unload and dump their Teslas. But it's happened before even this latest stream of catastrophe. Quite honestly, Teslas and EVs have always done poorly in terms of overall resale. The Tesla Model X, which is their big problem child with the big Falcon doors, you know, that big bird type car, SUV, well, it loses as much as 63.4%, and that equates to about $53,846. Devastating. Here's another one that really shouldn't be a shocker. We talk about Stellantis and some of the devastating blows they deliver in terms of overpricing, high depreciation, and low quality. Well, this next one meets on all fronts, and we're talking about Maserati Levante at 64.7% is gone. That's right, poof, up in smoke. That's right, at the turn of a hat, turn of a clock, and certainly 5 years later. And that equates to $64,991. How about the next one? A little bit of a shocker, but not really. Nissan Leaf. Remember, the mileage was abysmal with that. The technology was horrifying, and the battery technology just certainly wasn't there. A lot of people were complaining they were just not that great. I know it was an early approach to the EV market, but they lose 64.1% of their value in 5 years. And that equates to about $18,000 and change. How about the next one? Bring My Wallet, or it doesn't matter, I could go on. BMW, that's right, the 5 Series is one of the biggest losers in this list for depreciating. Now, they're wonderful cars. BMWs create some great cars these days. The new inline 6, the turbo 4s, the B48s, the B58 engines are pretty durable these days, but they still can't shake their reputation. And the rich that buy them on the front end have no problems. They lease them, they buy them, whatever, they can well heeled. It's usually the secondary market that suffers because nobody's looking for them. Young kids don't care about the 5 Series. Young executives, professionals don't want a used 5 Series BMW because they're starting to learn the value of money and they know depreciation and repairs are a big problem. So the 5 Series BMW, 64.7% is lost in 5 years, and that's equivalent to about $47,457. What could you do with $47,000? A lot. Okay, the next one. Another fine Stellantis product, Maserati Ghibli, 64.7% and $70,874. Yeah, not a shocker. How about the gloriously overlarge, overcharged Infiniti QX80? Now, we know Infinitis have been sucking the hind pooyans when it comes to depreciation, quality, resale, and certainly sales on the front end. But this should be of no surprise. Now, I will admit the QX80 is one of their better products. It actually has a torque converter auto. They don't have the CVT. They have a large V8, at least in the older generations. The new ones, I believe, are a Turbo 6. But nonetheless, they can't shake it. It's a large vehicle with heavy depreciation, affiliated with Nissan, which is not that popular. And they don't treat a lot of their customers, from my own personal experience, all that well in the service department. So here we are, 65% is gone in 5 years, and that works out to about $53,571. How about the next one? Again, not a shocker. Tesla Model S. You'll notice the X, the S, those are their premium models. When you get into the Ys and the 3s, people tend to, they like those a little better because they're lower cost to buy in, so the rate of depreciation is a little bit lower. It's usually the high dollar cars when they're new are the ones that see the big drops. But nonetheless, here's the Model S. That's their premium car, the sedan. 65.2% gone, just like that, in 5 years. $52,165. Another BMW, I don't know, however they say it. 67.1% gone. Can you imagine 2/3 of the value of that car is gone in 5 years? 2/3. 2/3. Let that sink in. Let that sink in, folks. You spend $120,000 for a 7 Series BMW, it's only worth 40 grand in 5 years. Ouch. And then on top of it, once it's off warranty, now you're dealing with catastrophic failures, huge expenses and repairs and service costs. And it's just the equity is just up in smoke. There is no equity. You're negative equity land all day long. So 67%, and it's about $65,249 on average MSRP difference from new to old in 5 years. Here's one, not a surprise. We've heard a lot going on. As a matter of fact, the big rebrand has taken them to places trying to sell a product, trying to get customers to buy these products. But we're talking about Jaguar I-Pace. Electric vehicles, 72.2%, and they lose $52,000 in 5 short years. That's a list. Do you have any other big losers in terms of depreciation? I don't like burning my money in a cost of living crisis, and I'm sure most of you don't either. As well, as always, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you have any other big losers you'd like to share? Talk to you all real soon. Bye-bye.